The question today is, why is the law of attraction not working for me? This is one I really want the answer to. How is it we can do some amazing and sometimes unexplainable things, like heal our own bodies by the power of our thought? Mother's intuition, the law of attraction. Can we really tap into our subconscious mind? Can we really create our own realities? It begs the question, are we novice gods? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Are We Novice Gods? Now, if you are new here, what we are doing is we're exploring some really interesting questions. See, it turns out that we actually create more than we think we do. What we think about expands, what we focus on expands. And I think we have more creative power than we give ourselves credit for. So I've been studying this, and I'm doing a documentary series about it. Now, one of the things I want you to know is I don't know all the answers. I'm not here coming to tell you this is the way it is or anything like that. What I'm doing is I'm seriously asking the question. I would like to know. And I'd like to know why the law of attraction isn't working for me. Now, as I say that, I got to tell you, I have used the law of attraction and I have manifested some amazing things in my life. Yet, there are some things that haven't quite worked out. And I want to know what I'm doing wrong. Why is it that it's not working for me right now? And how can I be more consistent in getting what I manifest and actually creating the abundance that I am seeking in my life? So that's what this series is about. You are here on a journey with me. You get to discover with me how this all works. And I think I figured out something pretty darn cool today. So I'm happy to share that with you. Now, as I say I'm happy to share that with you, I got to tell you just a little bit, I'm super self-conscious about this as well because it's super private. And I feel incredibly vulnerable here as I share this. If you paid attention to the pilot episode, you saw that I was vulnerable there too. And today is really vulnerable because what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you an answer to my prayer that I got just today. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to know you can get answers to prayer. You can, and maybe that's the better way than to look at a YouTube series on how to actually forward your life in the direction that you'd really like to go. So let me just tell you a little bit about what's going on. So I have been working for a while to manifest abundance in my life. So many things have worked out, and yet there are a few things that haven't quite clicked. And I'm looking to change that. So I have a morning routine that I follow. I use affirmations. I've been focusing on all the things that I feel like I'm supposed to. Well, last night as I was reading a book to kind of clarify some things in my mind, it talked about that when you're using the law of attraction, you act as if. So you believe as if it's already happened. And I have been telling myself that I've been doing this, but I realized as I read that that's not really how I have responded. I have been looking at things as trying to get my mind to believe that it's possible. And you know what? My mind believes it is possible. But in all the times that I use my affirmations, I think I'm really looking at it as a forward, a future kind of thing. And so these things eventually will happen in my life. But because I am so focused on eventually, I think they're always off in the distance. So I'm a little frustrated by that, and I'm looking to change it. So anyway, I'm looking at changing. So they say that when you are using the law of attraction, when you want to manifest something in your life, one of the things that you do is you believe as if it's already happened to you. You live as though it has already come true. Okay, awesome. That's really cool. But wait a second, there's this reality part of me that says, but it hasn't. And maybe you are looking at creating love in your life. Maybe there's a relationship that you want. Maybe there's a health issue that you're working on, and you're trying to get over that. Well, when we're right in the middle of it, it's kind of hard to see our way through. And for me, some of the things that I'm looking at creating are financially based. And so, how is it that you could create these things when you're not there yet, when it's not working out right now? And are you telling yourself a lie by trying to create it? But then also, how do you live? Okay, so now here is my very vulnerable story. So for me, I'm looking at creating some financial abundance. And yet I don't have it yet. And so I use these affirmations and I remind myself of these great things that are going to happen to me. And then last night I was reading saying that I should live as if it's already happened. So what I'm wrestling with is I'm looking to create abundance in my life. I don't have it right now. I am doing these affirmations each morning and throughout the day, sometimes, of the things that I want to create in my life, but they're not here yet. And then there's something that I want. For example, today I was thinking about how much I'd really like one of those Nest thermostats. It's one of those things that it's all digital, it's really cool, it's high tech. I can set it so that it'll automatically come on in the morning. I don't have to jump out of bed, run downstairs, turn it on, hop back in bed, or anything like that. It'll automatically do it for me. So I'm looking at getting those, and those are like $250. And I think, okay, as soon as I get money, I'm going to get that. And then I realized, well, wait a second, if I'm living as if, shouldn't I get it now? But wait, I don't have enough money. So, anyway, it kind of gets me in this kind of quandary. So hopefully you can see what I'm talking about here. I want to be financially responsible. I want to not cause more problems than I already do. But I'm curious about how to actually create this. So this morning, as I was doing kind of my morning routine, I asked a question to God. Now, I have this little purpose pad thing. It's free for a limited time. Anyway, in the show notes, you can go down there if you want help on how to kind of have a morning routine and how to ask questions to God. So anyway, I just share that with you because this is something that super helped me out today, and I want to share it with you. So my question to God was this: what do I do spending-wise about living as if it's already happened, but my bank account doesn't reflect it yet? So that was my question, because I was like, how do I do this? Should I spend stuff that I don't have? I'm taking a long time on this. I hope it's okay. This is kind of a longer episode. Okay, so anyway, I'm having this wrestle. I have a prayer to God. I ask Him, and then I was going to run to, jump into my scriptures, into my scripture reading, but instead I had an impression to read through this faith exercise that I do most every day, where I have listed all of these things where I have received answers to prayers and blessings and tender mercies. And as I started to read through those, and the first thought that came to my mind is, Scott, you're never going to get an answer in there. You read that almost every day. You're so familiar with it. How could anything possibly new jump out at you? And then almost immediately after, the thought said, well, it's happened before. So I jumped in there. I started reading through there, and as I ran down, as I skimmed down and kind of read through this, I ran across an experience that I had written to myself to remind myself about answers to prayers that I had received. And what I got was this: before I got a certain job, I exercised faith and bought a suit. That hit me like a ton of bricks today, because it said I exercised faith. And I made a purchase. And I thought that was really kind of interesting. Now, I do have to tell you, I know I'm going maybe a little long on this one, but I do have to tell you this story. So here's what happened. It was after 9/11. I lost my job in the dot-com fiasco, the bubble burst. And then for a year, pretty much, I was basically unemployed. I tried to start a business, and it didn't work out. It failed. And for a year, I was basically unemployed. We blew through all of our savings, and were really struggling. And kind of at the end of this, I was really looking for a job. Well, I interviewed for a job and felt good about it, but I didn't have the job. I didn't have the assurance I would get it. And it was a church job, and they expected you to dress nice. Well, I wasn't a suit-wearing kind of guy. I hate suits. But I felt like in order to have this job, I really need to dress the part. Well, I remember I took a step of faith and I bought a suit. And then I remembered as we left and went to another store, I got a call, and it was the controller at this company offering me the job. him and the guy that would be my boss, who was just a fantastic guy, a guy that I truly love. But I got an answer to prayer because I took a step of faith, because I took that leap. I made a step forward. Does that make sense to you? For me, that was a huge thing. I got an answer to prayer today. As I read through that line stood out to me, that memory stood out to me about when I had exercised faith. Now, as I tell you this, as I share this with you, I am not giving you financial advice. I am not telling you to go and spend money that you don't have. A lot of entrepreneurs hate the movie Field of Dreams, because he says in that, if you build it, he will come. And they think that it's like this simplified of advice, that if you build a product or have a startup company or something, that if you build it, people will automatically come. And that is not the message of the show. The message of the show is it took him to the edge and over the edge, and each time he had to exercise faith. He had to do things that were hard, that were challenging, that were like, it made no sense to do that. But by moving forward and exercising faith, then he received the blessings. So I don't have the answers to your questions. I'm searching for them just like you're searching for them. But as we look at why isn't the law of abundance working for me right now, I think it's because each time I have been using my affirmations, I've been thinking about the future, when this finally happens. I believe it's going to happen. I actually have certainty about that. And now that I'm switching to a belief that it has already happened and living as if, now that kind of changes things. So the question really is, can you exercise faith and move forward? That's really what we're talking about here. If you want to figure out how the law of abundance, how the law of attraction can work for you, move forward as if. Live as if it's already happened. And then follow any impressions that you have, even if they're crazy, even if it's plowing down your corn so that you could build a baseball field. But if you move forward with faith, I think things happen and will work out for you. So I just wanted to share that with you as something that happened to me today. I actually ordered the Nest thermostat, and I'm going to share some other experiences with you about that and how we have set points. But what I want you to know is, look in your life. Figure out if there's something you can do to move forward with the amount of faith that you have and the direction that you feel you need to go. And even if it hasn't worked out yet, can you move forward now? I think that might be what we need to do to get the law of attraction to work for us. Are you looking to make the world a better place? Visit me at scottwilhite.com and sign up to become an Impact Insider. I'll keep you updated on the topics and ideas that may help you become your best, true, full self.